The internet has officially been broken one more time by the release of the latest tool, ClawdBot. And if you've gone on the internet in the last couple days, you've probably seen so many countless videos released all across YouTube and other social media platforms talking about this exact tool. But before we go ahead and do that, I want to simply clarify here that this has absolutely nothing to do with Anthropic or Claude. So let's go ahead and break down exactly how ClawdBot actually works in the simplest way possible. Now, you can think about this application in three distinct layers. And the good news is you're probably already familiar with all of these layers anyways. The first layer is the messaging layer. So you can connect ClawdBot into your favorite messaging platform like WhatsApp, Telegram, or text messages, for example, so you can send messages for it to complete tasks and then receive responses back. Now, the second layer is the large language model. So you're giving it a brain in order to think, and you can connect it into ChatGPT, Claude, or Google Gemini. And the third layer is giving access to all of the tools that you're already using. So you're essentially giving ClawdBot hands to do the work for you so you don't have to do it yourself. And so what it can do is take control of your computer and be able to do all of the tasks that you're otherwise having to do manually. So you can send messages through your favorite messaging platform like WhatsApp, for example. Then the AI brain will go ahead and determine what it needs to do, and then it will access the tools to get the job done. And that all sounds great, right? But there are a lot of risks when using a tool like ClawdBot. And the main one is that there's no real guardrails in place to enforce the AI to behave in a certain way once it starts running. And you're probably pretty familiar with this with ChatGPT, right? You log in, you ask a question, every single time it delivers you a different result. But with ClawdBot, it's slightly different because you're giving it access to all of your tools, right? So it might keep doing things even though it shouldn't. My next risk is that you're giving it broad permissions to all of your files and all of your folders so that it can take actions that you may not want it to take. So for example, if you go ahead and you delete a folder, you might get an error or a warning saying, hey, do you actually want to go ahead and delete this? And you can be like, oh crap, like maybe I don't want to delete that. But with ClawdBot, it's just going to go ahead and take the best action that it thinks is appropriate in the moment. And that might not be the action that you actually want it to take. So it could download files off the internet that you don't want it to actually download. It could delete things. It could send off emails that you don't want it to send, and so on and so forth. And the last risk in this video that I want to talk about is the fact that costs can spiral out of control. So with a lot of the apps that you're connecting to ClawdBot, they cost money, right? Every single time you use ChatGPT through the API or you use Claude or Gemini, that costs you money. And so what might happen is you could set up all of these tasks to run on a daily cadence or weekly or monthly. And by the end of the month, you might return back and realize that the price that you spent was way higher than you intended. And moving on here just from the risks, another thing that I thought was interesting that was worth mentioning in this video is that I see a lot of people online talking about how it is revolutionary and how it's blowing their minds and that it's going to change their lives. And I think that could be true in a couple of instances, but I also think that that's way overhyped. And let me explain why I say that. Because the reality is that a lot of these tools already exist in different forms. I mean, the idea of automating your personal tasks or your business is not new. You can log into Anti-Gravity for free today, and you can build out agentic workflows that do the same things that you could do in ClawdBot. You could also do the same thing in Claude Code. And even if you want to roll back time, you could go into no-code tools like N8N or Make.com to be able to build out deterministic workflows that automate all aspects of your life. And the keyword there, deterministic, is something that I want to point out here when it comes to ClawdBot, because when you're using apps like N8N, deterministic means that you're building out all of these nodes independently to accomplish a particular function. And every single time this runs, it's going to get you the exact same results. But when you're dealing with ClawdBot, it's probabilistic, which means that because you're defining a goal that you want the AI to accomplish, like for example, generating a newsletter in Google Docs, every single time you run it, it will deliver different results, right? So what that means is that by nature, it's more unreliable. And when you compound that by giving it access to all of these different files, all of these different folders, and there's no guardrails in place, you might not get the results that you're really looking for. And so that is the major risk when using an app like ClawdBot. Now, if you want to go ahead and try this out completely for free, all you have to do is head over to their domain clawd.bot, which I find is absolutely hilarious because the domain clearly did not age well, considering the fact that they had to change their name down here. But on their website, you can go over to the quick start guide and copy in this command by hitting the copy button here. And by the way, you don't need to know any code, and then enter this into your terminal. It's going to enter you into a quick start guide to set this up in a matter of a couple minutes. If you want to open up your terminal, you can just go into like Spotlight and search for this if you're on a Mac, for example. And the other option is to host this in the cloud using Hostinger, which has dedicated hosting for ClawdBot. Now, I'm going to summarize this in one sentence, but the distinction between the cloud and your computer is that in the cloud, you can run mission critical operations for your business. Anytime on your computer, if the internet cuts, the terminal here cuts, or your computer dies, you're not going to be able to actually use ClawdBot, which means that if you're running mission critical operations and your computer dies, you're not going to be able to run them until you start your computer back up. Now, you've probably also seen a lot of people buying Mac Minis to host ClawdBot on, and this all starts at the low price of $600 and goes all the way up to $1,400. I mean, that sounds like a pretty sweet deal. I'm just kidding. Like, you can do this if you want to, but you also could get started for $4.99 on Hostinger or for free on your computer as well. Now, just to wrap up here, guys, I do really think that this is the future of AI and automation, just not in its current form. So I think that there will be an application that comes by with the same idea, with the same power, but just with better safeguards built in place so that you can get predictable results every single time without the headache. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you found value in it. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and that like button. And also, if you're looking to learn more about AI and automation, I highly recommend taking a look at my school community, because I teach all of these tools in here so that you can become an expert in these and apply it to your life to make money and save time. In terms of making money, I will teach you exactly how you can find, close, and fulfill your first deal in an AI automation agency within 30 days or less. And then you just rinse and repeat and acquire more customers and so on and so forth. And then the second transformation here is for those of you who have existing businesses. I'll show you how you can automate up to 80% of your business by copying, pasting, and deploying the exact blueprint that I use to scale to 7 figures into your business so that hopefully you can get similar results as well. And if you want a done for you solution, I highly recommend taking a look at my agency over here where we implement these solutions for you without you having to do absolutely anything at all. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.